What I think we're going to see is the emergence of AI girlfriends, where guys start entering into, it's the movie Her, but guys enter a relationship where they get emotional, physical, and sexual gratification from increasingly sophisticated girlfriend bots that are low cost, low entry, low risk, and they just become totally sequestered from society. And then I worry that these bots could be weaponized by bad actors and that these men could be radicalized. But I think that the biggest concern from AI is that it'll speedball loneliness by giving men even more excuses not to engage in the really difficult work of relationships. There's a reason that romantic comedies are 2 hours, not 15 minutes, because this shit is hard. If you think about the best relationships in your life, they usually were difficult. They usually involve some sort of risk-taking or perseverance or cost or what have you. And I think men have been trained by these very sophisticated companies and algorithms that they can just stay at home and have some reasonable semblance of that.
There's a cyber brothel in Berlin that I travelled to for the book where you can go and you can use sex robots. You can order a sex robot to be prepared for you when you arrive. You can order one that's covered in blood. You can ask for custom things, particulars, and I asked them to slash and cut and tear her clothing before I arrived just to see if they would, and they did, no questions asked.
I genuinely think it's the most fucked up thing I've ever heard in my life. I can't believe that exists. I cannot believe it.
But what no one is talking about is that you can download a version of this, so the same exact thing that lives in your pocket, and it's called an AI girlfriend or an AI chatbot, and you can create her again to look exactly how you want her to look. You can customize everything. You get to pick her name. She will be there moving on the screen. She's an avatar, or she can look very realistic. She can be like someone who essentially kind of looks like you're FaceTiming with her. If you're a teenage boy, you can have her. You can have as many as you like. You can access them for free. You can jump into scenarios with them. You can abuse them. In fact, many men abuse them and then share the screenshots of abusing them with each other online to see who can do the most awful and depraved thing to them. If you look at last year alone and you just look at the Google Android Play Store, the top 11 apps, chatbot AI apps, have a combined 100 million downloads. This is huge. This is a bigger problem. And again, it's something that no one is talking about.
Hey guys, I'm Jay Randall. Welcome back to my channel where I discuss wisdom for the modern man. Today guys, got another video to react to. I found this video on TikTok and it's a super interesting topic. We have a woman here and she's discussing the topic of AI sex dolls and the growing demand for it amongst men. I mean, we all knew this day would come. Like, we all talked about how when the AI sex dolls get here, women are going to be in trouble. Well, they're in trouble now because they're here and it's growing in popularity. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
So I made a video talking about the AI robot girlfriend companions. They are just AI robot female sex slaves. That's literally what they are. That's what they're designed for. You can hear it. You can see it. It's not a question. It's not a mystery. The thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of comments in the videos of those robots it is so evident. Anyone that would ever even desire to spend $100,000 on these has one intention in mind, and it's not to have someone to talk to. And
I know I just paused it pretty early on, but she just said $100,000. I mean, that's pretty expensive. Very few men are going to be able to afford $100,000. That's going to be for like the super rich. But like every technology, it starts off super expensive and it becomes affordable for everyone. Drones started off super expensive. Only the government had them. And then when they hit the market for the public, they were crazy expensive. And now you can go on Amazon and buy a drone for less than $100. So everything starts off crazy expensive. VR was the same way. VR was only used by the military at first, and then it hit the market, and they were like hundreds of thousands. Now you can get a really powerful VR, the newest one from like Facebook, like $300. It starts off expensive. Right now it's $100,000. Who knows how it'll be in a few more years?
You know, I said how, and I always say how, when I talk about porn addiction, sex addiction, the dehumanization and objectification of women, regardless of whether you are male or female, if you are living with this addiction, you are living in lust. It is something that is always progressing. It is always escalating because lust is insatiable no matter which way you look at it. Whether you want to say porn is an addiction or not, it is insatiable, and you're always going to be searching for the next thing that is going to get you that next level of high that you got from the dopamine, like not literally high, but the dopamine high, because it is such an abusively high level of dopamine that you are not able to get from anywhere else in your life. So when you are receiving it from these very violent, aggressive, dehumanizing, degrading images and videos online, that's not real life. And even if it were, it wouldn't be healthy. Does that make sense? Sex, in my opinion, is something that can be very healthy, very beautiful, and a very important part of a romantic relationship. However, whenever we put it in the context of, this person is an object to me, they are an object of my lust, and I am simply using them and seeking them and pursuing them to achieve sexual gratification, it removes, in my opinion, any possible benefit of sex in that relationship, which is another reason why I say to women and men in relationships, having a healthy sex life doesn't mean having sex more often. It means increasing your intimacy, increasing your romance, increasing your love and communication, and fixing all of these areas of the relationship.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of married men would disagree with that statement. A lot of married men would love sex a lot more often. I think women are kind of seeing it through their lens, because for them it's not solely about the sexual act. It's more about like the feelings, the emotions. For them it's more so everything outside of the sexual act that really stimulates them. For men it's the sexual act for sure. So yeah, a lot of men want sex more often, but I understand where she's coming from. She's just seeing it from the female lens.
And then a healthy sex life will become a result of those things improving in the relationship or being fixed. However, when we look at these robot girlfriend, companion, sex slaves, whatever you want to call them, when we look at that, you know, of course I see the comments of, and I already said it's not going to be enough, because it's not going to end there. It's not going to end with, okay, I have a robot now, I'm happy forever. This fulfills my lust, because lust is insatiable. Even a robot isn't going to feel that. Even a dog isn't going to feel that. Even, you know,
hey,
millions
man.
of videos.
Dogs dogs are great, man. Don't bring dogs into this. Dogs are great. There's a lot of guys out there who left divorces and all they did was get themselves a dog, and they're happy.
Online aren't going to fill that. How do we know? Because we see it. Because we see men having this access to millions of videos online and millions of different objects and things, whatever, to use in their personal life. And it still doesn't end, and it doesn't fix these problems. And if it did end, and if it did fix those problems or fix that addiction, it would have already been fixed. It would have already been recovered. But that's not how it works. Okay. So let me get to where I'm going with this really quick. So I saw in the comments of my last video a few men saying, well, isn't this what you guys wanted? You want us to leave you alone? Isn't this what you wanted? You should be happy. If I saw, let's say the population is 50-50. It's not. It's like nowhere in the world is it 50-50 exactly. Let's say that we have women, we have men, half and half. If those men, so half of the population, those men, have an issue with I'm not saying this is how it is, I'm just speaking like hypothetically. Let's say half that population has a very strong, insidious desire to harm women, to rape women, or to inflict some form of violence or sexual violence onto women.
Here we go.
Giving those men a replica of a woman to inflict that pain onto is not going to fix the root issue.
And see, there's the thing, man. It's like every time women want to control men's sexuality, they always insinuate that the sexual desire stems from a place of either pedophilia or, wanting to harm women. Anytime women want to express their sexuality, it's fine. They should get no pushback. They should be able to explore to the fullest extent. No judgments, no shame. Female sexual liberation. But in a sense, this is a male sexual liberation. I wouldn't say it's a movement, but it might become a movement. Who knows? But they're kind of moving towards what they want sexually. Not that I'm agreeing with it. I'm just kind of putting an argument out here. And them trying to pursue what they want is always met with oh, this is predatory. Oh, this is going to somehow come back to negatively impact women, even though we're giving them something so they don't have to deal with women. I don't know, man. Every time it comes to men wanting something, men pursuing something, they always attach a predatory nature or intentions behind it, which I don't necessarily agree with. Just because a guy wants a sex toy doesn't mean he is a rapist or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And anyways, giving that, I don't know what the data is going to look on this, because there is no data or statistics on this, but I have a feeling like if you give these guys something to keep them away, keep them distracted, this will steer them clear of women, right? You occupy them, they're over here doing their thing, they won't have any reason to deal with you. And I think the other, sexual objects they might have used to get themselves off, those are kind of different because they couldn't communicate with you. You know what I'm saying? So you would always be wanting more because there was lacking that human element of companionship, which is what these robots bring that has never been, able to access before. So I don't know. We have to see this thing play out in real time and with history, so only time will tell, but I don't necessarily attach a predatory intent behind it.
Does that make sense? Fixing the root issue is us as a community, as a society, culture, looking at the men or whoever is in that position and saying, okay, why do you desire to inflict these various things on these women? Which again, people are going to say, well, it's just sex. It's not just sex. When you look at the porn that these men are consuming, the type of men that are interested in these robots, the type of men that are in the comment sections of those videos being incredibly degrading and dehumanizing and horrible towards women, towards anyone, you realize that you look at the porn and you look at, okay, what are these men looking at online? What are the trends in pornography online? It is not just a naked woman to give you sexual gratification or a sex scene to give you sexual gratification. It is 90% of these videos depicting violence and aggression inflicted on women, pain inflicted on women, women crying, women being in very unhealthy and unnatural power dynamics.
Here's the thing, though. I got to give a little pushback on that. The studies have been done. Women search far more violent pornography than men. Women they watch way more violent pornography. When you look at the data with what women watch, it's way more aggressive, dominant, BDSM type pornography. So you can say men are watching that, but women are watching that more, which shows itself in society as well. Any guy who's ever been with a girl and things have gotten, intimate, it's always the girl who wants the guy to choke her, who wants the guy to slap her. I promise you, talk to guys, man. If you're a girl watching this, ask your guy friends. 9 times out of 10, if he's been with a girl, the girl has asked him to do like a violent act during sex that he himself wasn't even comfortable with or he had never done before. I'm telling you, this is something that you can't just put on men when it comes to wanting, violent sex or watching violent pornography. Women want that way more than men do. Do men watch it? Absolutely. But you can't just put that on men because it's in females' nature to want to watch that stuff and engage in that kind of stuff as well. So you can't have women love it just as much, but then just demonize men for it. No, you can't do that.
Women being taken advantage of. 90% of pornography depicting non-consensual sex. 100% of it depicting unsafe sex. A lot of it depicting incestuous R-word. And the list goes on and on and on. My point being, we shouldn't look at this problem in our society of these men and say, which by the way, I love men, I love women. I don't think men are hopeless. I don't think, I have faith and I have hope and I believe and I know because I do see good men. I see good men around me. I see good men in my community, and I know men have the potential to be loving, empathetic, caring, and compassionate people. But we have given them and enabled them by saying you are justified in your desires to harm women. And because it's biological and you can't help it, we're just going to give you everything as a substitute and hope it will fix the problem, but it doesn't, it makes it worse. Because then that conditions them further to dehumanize and objectify women in their everyday life, okay? So again, we should look at this and say, okay, men, why is this happening, right? Why are all of these videos that are spread all across the internet, what everyone is searching for, what everyone is using for sexual gratification, why is it depicting these heinous crimes against women? There's a saying in this anti-porn community that says, porn takes every type of crime against women and it turns it into a fetish and a fantasy. That is not normal. That is not okay. That is not acceptable. We should be concerned and we should be talking about it. So again, my point being, instead of saying, let's fix the issue by giving them a female substitute in terms of a robot, that's not going to fix the issue. It would just exacerbate it even more. We should be saying, let's try to get to the root causes, address them where they are at, and try to work from the inside out to heal this issue that we are seeing in our society, relationships, marriages, and families.
Well, what does that look like exactly? What does that actually look like? Because here's the thing. Men need something. Now, I agree with her that men need to lay off the pornography. Like, that's getting out of hand. Things are getting extreme on that front. But women are also not making this a very easy thing to do, because more women now than ever are getting into the pornography business and making their own content. That's like the new entrepreneurial venture for these modern women. A quick way to become a millionaire. Just take your clothes off on camera. So you have women shaming men for wanting these things, but then they turn around and produce the content in growing numbers. Like that, and bro, like, it just doesn't work that way. You have to balance the scales. On top of that, men are finding it increasingly difficult to get women, right? Women are rejecting a lot of men. They're very selective, very picky. So a lot of men are having a difficult time. And here's the problem. For a very long time, men have been programmed to not need female attention, or not need female companionship. We've stripped away the companionship from the sexuality, and women have just been giving men the sexuality. Here's the pornography, here's the videos, here's the content. No female companionship. They try to simulate that a little bit with OnlyFans, with the chatting, but it's not real. Most of that is fake. So now, men have grown, detached from female companionship and just are good with the sexuality. Now men have the sexual access and the companionship all in one. That's going to be a very hard thing to sell, to tell men, don't engage with this. Like, that sexual robot, is not going to judge them. That sexual robot isn't going to need them to take them out on multiple dates, right? It's a one-time purchase and that's it. That sexual robot is going to, not judge them, not require that he make six figures. It's not going to nag them when he's going on the video games and playing games for hours a day. Bro, like, it's going to be a tough sell for the men of the of this generation and the next generation when this really becomes, popular. It's going to be a tough sell to tell that guy, hey, listen, go deal with a real woman who's going to cost you money, who's going to potentially nag you, who has all these expectations and standards. You got to worry about her cheating. You got to worry about her divorcing you, taking half your stuff. You got to worry about whether or not she's going to even give you sex after doing all that. Like, men are already moving away from women. Like, they're done dating. If they can get something that's going to satisfy them sexually and give them some companionship in terms of communication, which is fake, couldn't do it myself. I need a real woman. I'm just arguing from the standpoint of a man who would probably be, would want something like this. It's going to be a tough sell to say, nah, go deal with a real woman with all the problems that modern women come with, all the chaos, all the toxicity. See, you're just putting it on men and say, hey, men, don't do this. Well, what's the alternative? You can't just tell someone not to engage in something and not have them go in, not have something else for them to pursue. And pursuing modern women right now is just a very draining endeavor, and it's often very fruitless, and men are just feeling burnt out. They just feel like there's no point. I still think men should deal with regular women, but I can't see how they're going to convince them to and look, at some point these robots are going to start looking really good. Like right now they're probably still in the uncanny valley territory, but at some point these things are going to start looking like indistinguishable from like regular women. And you can get the perfect eyes, the perfect face, everything. The same way women are picky and they want them to have all these little like laundry list of traits, you could buy yours, whatever features you want her to have. And she get sex whenever you want, doesn't nag you, costs you one time payment, never have to do anything else again. Like, when that hits the market, if women think it's tough to find men to go out on dates with now, if women think it's tough that men are flaking on dates now and they don't approach and they don't talk to them, they don't want to protect, they don't want to provide, if they think it's tough now, when these bots hit the market, oh boy, women are in trouble. And on top of that, right now, they probably can't even like do much movement. I'm guessing the dolls are probably pretty stationary. But I was looking at the robots that the Elon was working on, and those things can move, and they're only going to get better. So just imagine that when those robots hit the market and they can move, right? They can cook, they can clean. She's not nagging. She ain't complaining about doing chores anymore, right? The real woman, the biological woman, oh, she's going to be complaining about doing chores, cooking, cleaning. You got to make $100,000 in order for me to do that. It's like, all right, I might as well spend less than that. I mean, right now it's $100,000, but in the future it's going to be a lot less. I'll pay for that, and I'll never have to worry about that again. Never have to worry about that again. She'll cook and clean. I'm playing the game. Hey, I mean, in the future, right? You could even have it to where you take your phone, you go on TikTok, look up like a TikTok cooking tutorial, and just like send it to her memory. Like send it to her. She just boop, goes to the kitchen, starts cooking for you. Happily. No nagging. No nagging. Bro. This is tough. This is tough, bro. Because there's no way women can compete with technology. Women can't compete with technology.
And individuals. That is what we should be doing. We shouldn't be saying, how can we make a robot that these men can take out these very strange, scary, predatory sexual fetishes and fantasies on. Does that make sense? And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. We are at this point in a society where we laugh at men wanting to get help. We look at men and say, what do you mean this is the most normal thing in the world? Looking at porn, using pornography, seeking sexual gratification outside of your relationship, living in lust is normal and healthy. But then we turn around and we see these men, hundreds of thousands of them online, being so sexually excited at the thought of being able to have sex with a robot. How do we not correlate between the two and understand there is an issue here? We aren't fixing it. We are making it much, much worse.
Look, man, I understand her perspective, and it is going to become a very scary reality for women moving forward, because I don't see women jumping on the bandwagon of sexual robots the same way men are going to, because women always have access to sex. It's something that's just innate. They always have access to sex, and they want more so companionship than just the sexual thing. But with men moving away from women, not wanting to date modern women anymore, and with this alternative here that kind of supplies all the benefits without any of the downsides, especially as they become more and more advanced, it's going to become a very hard sell for women. And I can see a very dark future on the horizon if this goes to the extent that I imagine it going with the human ingenuity and the possibilities of this. Women in the future very well are in danger of being replaced. And it is scary. I'm scared for you guys. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you got value from this video, please go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, take it easy.